Hey
Let's do
everybody,
it. What's up?
welcome.
What's up? Back for another episode. Finally, man. I think it took a complete quarantine. Both of us are so incredibly busy that it took a quarantine to make this happen. I
Yeah,
know. I'm actually stuck with a little bit of coffee. It's going to be a long night.
really? Oh man.
Yeah, yeah. As some of you know, and actually I can publicly talk about it, but it is, and there are going to be some different things and some changes and all that. But we're taking a company public right now, and I won't go into the details, but talk about timing.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of making a bunch of changes before we release that. Just because our friend Corona is out there running rampant.
Yeah, just for everybody listening, coronavirus has, taken China by storm, Italy by storm, Europe has moved over to the United States. Most everybody's doing social distancing, if not quarantining themselves to try to slow down the virus spread. Nobody really knows anything right now. Russia and OPEC are fighting over oil prices, and coronavirus plus the oil tanking
Yeah.
uh, has sent the market into a tailspin. And so, where are we at today, Ace? I didn't even look at where we were, but it's the fastest bear market in history. So,
Yeah. And actually, I want to pull up a couple of things. Hold on one sec. It's interesting time. So one of the things that popped up that was pretty interesting is, obviously, and I shared with you a little bit earlier, the whole $4 trillion impact that Ray Dalio predicted. And, I think it's more that some of the things that we're facing right now are so unprecedented that there are huge contrasts in what people expect. And so, it was cool to see Ackman yesterday on CNBC. I'm sorry, and Bill Ackman runs a multi-billion-dollar fund, a super bright guy, but has also dealt with some controversy and some things like that. But the thing that was interesting is that he came out yesterday and was like, oh, everything is terrible. The president's not doing enough. The government's not doing enough. He was on an interview like, there's no way, I'm completely staying out of the market. And who knows what happened behind closed doors. But it was interesting that literally the next day he's like, no, the president, everything's okay. Everything's fine. And I'm investing right now. Like, it's definitely the time to buy. It's very crazy times right now. So, yeah.
we're seeing a lot of people doing a lot of different things. Is it time to buy the dip? Is it going to run into the summer? Are we going to see the fastest and longest bear market? And really, how does that translate to deal making? And for us, the deals abound when there are no buyers, and smart buyers are out there, but the casual, like, I'm thinking about buying a business kind of person is not going to be out there buying during this time. And so serious buyers may have a lot more resources at their fingertips, especially because people aren't going to be borrowing. Money may be harder to get. Some of it's going to be real cheap because right now the SBA is about to throw a lot of money into the economy. So talking about not knowing what's going on, You know?
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, as I look at like some of the deals that are on the market right now and the fact that, you know, they're priced for a totally different market. And then I see some of the new deals that are just starting to come in the market. And it's like this stark contrast where it's like, it's almost like there was an old reality that, you know, we were in and we've been in it for a long time. And now there's this new reality, and all of that is going to have to reset to be down here. And so that's an interesting thing to see in the market right now is the deals that literally came on the market just a few weeks ago are totally different than the deals that are coming on the market today.
Yeah, I just sent an LOI out today that was 10% down and 90% seller finance. And, you know, I mean, it's kind of like throwing noodles up against the wall to see what sticks. But there, I mean, the chance of somebody taking a deal like that, if they're ready to be done, is just astronomically higher right now.
Yeah.
And who knows how long this is going to last. But yeah, all those sellers, they may pull their deals off the market. They're going to have to come to a new psychological like understanding of what a deal is going to look like. It was what 3 weeks ago. It was all cash.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the biggest lesson that we can give right now in the market that we're in is that you're going to be dealing with almost three kinds of people. You got to understand the best person to deal with right now is the person that puts their business on the market right now. The person that puts their business on the market takes the time to get with a business broker, contact the business owner, you know, type in the information and get their business on the market right now is coming into the process of exiting their business, putting their business on the market, selling it. They're coming into it in the psyche that all of us are in right now. And there are very few people literally on the whole planet Earth that are as optimistic today as they were a month ago. And so those people that are coming into the market right now are just coming into it in a totally different space. And, you know, it's good, you know, in the program, as you know, Sam, we talk a lot about just the facts. We talk a lot about, you know, due diligence and looking at the numbers and all that. And that's a big part of this, but just as big is the psychology behind the person that you're working with. And so, you know, we talk a lot about finding that motivated seller. And most of the time we're saying, oh, they're motivated because they're going through this personal issue or health issue. They're dealing with a divorce. They're dealing with a big tax bill. They're dealing with all these things that forces them to be motivated. And so that puts them in a different psyche as a motivated seller than that other person is just like, you know, the broker convinced me to put on the market. I'll see if I get my price. That's a totally different psyche. So right now, people are coming into this just by virtue of being in the market that we're in right now, just by virtue of turning on the TV, turning on their computer, or turning on their cell phone. They are in a totally different psyche than they would be otherwise. So they're going to be more motivated. They're coming from a totally different place, even if they have no personal issues, especially if they're taking out the time to contact the broker and put a deal on the market in the time that we're in right now. And I think we'll see the offline market, by the way, is going to be a little bit slower, but they're going to be more motivated. So the offline market is slower right now just because they literally have to, most of the time, call a broker, contact that broker. Typically, that meeting is in person. There's not a lot of in-person meetings right now. So for those of you that are looking at offline, there's like, oh, I don't really see the motivated seller. There's just logistical reasons behind that. But you can literally see, I saw one of the online brokers, they literally have 4 times the number of deals that they had in the previous month that came out in a week, because those sellers can just go online. They're not having to call somebody, meet with them, or any of that stuff. So we're gonna see an onslaught of the offline deals. And this is what I've been waiting for. I've talked a lot on videos just about how, like over the last 6 months, I've become slower and slower at closing deals just because, I've been through 2 recessions in this stuff.
Yep.
I had a deal and went through the 2001 recession. Had deals and went through the 2008 recession. So I literally been making videos like, hey, it has to happen at this point. It's going to change all of this. And who knew that it would be this? But, just like this is where we are. And so there's the motivation. So that's the first type of seller. That's the ideal seller. The second seller is the person that had their business or type of seller is the person that had their business on the market, that decided to sell. They did want to exit. Maybe they weren't very motivated, but going through this, and we're going to see this with a lot of the baby boomers. A lot of baby boomers is like, I got a great business. I don't, like there are no headaches. The economy's booming. I'm making a ton of money. I don't know if I want to sell or not, but, somebody brings me enough money, then I'll sell it. Those people are now going to be ready to exit and be a lot more motivated than they were just a few weeks ago. And then you have the third person that you have to understand, and this is where, like what you were talking about, Sam, is throwing the noodles against the wall to see what sticks. And those are the people that they came into the market in a different market. They came into market in a different psyche. And interview people that are in sales or marketing, you'll be familiar with the concept of anchoring. And so what you want to do in a sale is like get an anchor price. And if you're the person selling, if you start at an anchor price that's really high, then it's going to be all the rest of the negotiations is going to be in your favor because you're starting off with that high point. The average person that came into this is thinking, hey, like I put my business on the market at $1 million. And so, it could be that somebody else, given today's psyche, and that was in the previous psyche, that was 2 months ago, whatever, 3 months ago, they put their business on the market, everything was great. So now it doesn't have as much to do with the market. It's just that it's like a car. It's like, hey, I have this car worth $100,000, or, I have this house worth $200,000. It just is that price. And so though there will be some people that put their business on the market and now they've anchored themselves to think, this is what my business is worth. And so even if the next person is bringing on the market at $500,000, when they give you a price of $800,000, they're thinking, I just lost $200,000 because of the market. So, those are 3 people that you're going to be dealing with in the market that we're in right now. And you want to understand who you're dealing with and don't get tricked by that third person just because they have a price anchoring that is in a totally different reality than the reality that we're in right now.
And it switched like that, man, like that. I think there's a fourth person that we may not be even dealing with. And that's the person who has decided that they don't want to go through another recession. They don't want to list their business, and they're going to just shut it down.
Please, yes, preach.
Right. They're just going to shut it down, man. I went through the same thing. This was like 2007. I thought about closing my business before I sold it, right before the market hit, just because it was a hassle to sell. That was before we started doing deals together. It was just a hassle. These baby boomers have been, they got some money in the bank, maybe because of the market, they're hurting, maybe not. But they're like, I'm 70 years old, just don't want to go through this again. I don't want to go through another recession. I don't want to, I don't want to go through the hassle. And, we can go in there and make it a lot easier for them. But
yeah.
I think what a huge opportunity, and this is the opportunity on the other side, after you've so one, the opportunity is to buy cash flow. 2 is to buy cash flow in a niche that has a high percentage of baby boomers and people who are going to be shutting down their businesses. So just letting them go. And all of that work, all of that business will then shift over to those companies that are still in business. So,
Yeah.
So as those shut down, they will be moving over into Sam and Ace's business that we close, from somebody who just wants to shut it down. So that's a huge opportunity as well, is just being there and still in business when these people are like, screw it, I'm out.
And that's, during that recession, the previous recession, that's what I did with the tanning salons. Some people are like, dude, like, how in the world did you end up owning a chain of tanning salons as a Black dude? So, and the bottom line was I had several different businesses, and it just so happens that the business that was easiest to go out and buy a lot of was in that space. And so, it's a thing of where these are the opportunities where you can make a lot of bets. So in that recession, I had businesses that were in real estate. I had a business that was in retail, clothing retail, Plato's Closet, which was is a franchise, still 500. There are a bunch of units out there. Actually, was just talking to one of the guys that I sold my franchise to, who's actually now starting to sell them. That was, I sold that. I bought that right after the recession. And then he bought it. I guess he's owned it maybe 4 or 5 years, and now he's selling. And then I had the salons/spas. And as I had those 3 businesses, I was able to buy another plate of those. There weren't enough of those, but the thing that there were a lot of were the tanning salons. They were kind of on the market. I was able to negotiate just really, really rock bottom deals, to the point that, like, the last deal that I actually closed was with a guy that cursed me out because of my offer. And the next day, Sam knows the story, the next day his wife calls me like, no, like, I want to apologize for my husband, and we will take it. Because they were just, it's the time that we're going to be entering. Nobody was buying anything. So it's like, dude, like, you don't have to sell it to me, but this is my offer if I'm going to buy it. And that's the situation that a lot of you guys will be able to take advantage of. So, just like Sam is saying, the opportunity to think about and that we're training our clients to work through isn't just, go out and buy a deal. Go out and find a rock bottom business. It's what's an industry that you can go out and do a deal in, and then use that team that you buy to go out and buy the next deal, and then use that team to go and buy the next deal, and end up in a situation like me where I was able to cobble these 5 businesses that were all in the same industry together, rebrand all of them, and then as the economy got to where we are today, I wish I would have waited even longer. Who knew that we were going to be in an amazing economy for a freaking decade? I would have held on a little longer, Sam. But you get to a point where, okay, wow, things are good again, and you've got this big brand and a bunch of businesses together, and then you can exit, and that's where the real money is made. This is the time that I've been waiting on, and just being able to see. I had that little bit of a boost in the first recession that I went through in this space, and now that next boost, and so this is kind of the big one. And, I started the call talking about some of the changes we're making in the company that I'm taking public, which hopefully eventually I will be able to talk a lot more about. But I think that, even with that, like, it's not even from a place of, oh no, this is terrible. It's like, oh, okay, let's time this a little differently because things are about to get really, really good for our space.
Yeah. Agreed.
You want to sign us off?
Yeah.
I know we have our training call coming up.
Yep. So we're about to get on with our clients here. That's
my goodness, back
on Thursday at 8 p.m. But here with Ace, and I'm Sam Leslie. This is the Dealmakers Institute podcast and YouTube channel. Hit us up. Click the link in the description if you want to see what we're doing and the deals that we are buying, and looking forward to talking to you soon. Bye, Ace.
Later.